Dancing. I just dance until Jaden tells me we're live. So that's the only dancing you get. We're live. All right. Welcome to my live. I appreciate you being here. If you came from TikTok and Instagram, thank you for being here. This is a fun live. I do this every Thursday here on exclusively YouTube. I don't do it on any other platform. Right now, maybe I will, but YouTube. What I'm going to do on this live here quickly, so if you're watching the recording, which is 90% of the views, you'll know what this live is about. I'm going to welcome and introduce myself. I'm going to talk about a giveaway that I'm going to give away at the end, obviously, but it's a monetizable giveaway, something that I charge money for. I'm going to give away for free. I'm also going to give away some free training throughout this. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the current market and the market update. I might get kind of mad and yell a little bit. It is what it is. Then I'm going to talk about a case study. That's what this is. This is the main meat. The meat part of the meat sandwich is the case study, and sorry my writing sucks. But anyways, I'm going to talk about a 32-unit apartment complex that I bought without using any of my own money. So 32 units, bought it a few years ago, great case study. You got some before and after numbers, you know, it's grown in value, so it's going to be a really good case study. 32 unit I bought without using any of my own money. A lot of really cool stories that go into that. And then I'm going to do some Q&A. We're going to do some Q&A at the end as well, and then we're going to do our giveaway that people are paying money for. I'm going to give to one of you for free. So make sure you're following me on what you see below: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all Twitter, all of those things, Discord, and Reddit as well. Follow me on all the platforms. Let's have a good live. Let me know where you're from if you haven't, even if you're watching the recording. Hitting that like button, please hit that darn like button. Where is this? There. I don't know where the F it is, but hit the like button. It really helps me get this out in front of more people. I'm giving away enough information that most people charge for. I'm also giving away something that I charge for, all in this live. So if you could just please give it a like, whether you're watching the recording or the live, I would really appreciate it. I will even give this away to somebody who watches the recording. We're going to give the paid giveaway. We're going to give away now, and then I'll go back and look at the comments. People that have left comments after the fact next week, I will contact one of you and give it to you as well. So like this video, I'll check the analytics, and comment if you want that free training that I charge for. But I also have a free training, so DM me on Instagram or check out the link in the bio below if you want my free training. That's different than the paid thing I'm giving away. All right, introduce myself. Let me know where you're from if you haven't. Then let's get rocking on this. So my name is Sam. I'm a real estate investor. I own a house buying company here in St. Louis. We're going to flip 300 houses this year, maybe a little bit more. When we say flip, I mean buy and sell. So majority of those are going to be wholesales. We're probably going to wholesale 240 to 250, and then we're probably going to physically fix up and sell maybe 60, 50 to 60. So it'll be around 300 houses we'll buy and sell this year. Majority wholesale with some fix and flips, all here in St. Louis. I also own a $40 million rental portfolio, which sounds crazy to say, but it is what it is. It's a little north of 40 million, but we're trying to be conservative here. A $40 million rental portfolio that I bought without using any of my own money in the past 6 or 7 years. About 60% of it's been in the last 12, 18 months. So I've really started to gain some traction, which is why I'm teaching people how to do this on here. So that's a little bit about myself. I also own this Faster Freedom brand here. Same Faster Freedom on the socials. Faster Freedom is the brand. Didn't want to do like a my name brand. I'd rather do a brand that can outlive me, hence the Faster Freedom brand. We do national mentorship. We teach people how to buy rentals using none of their own money. Super, super powerful. If you're interested in that, just let me know as well. But all right, all that. Now, let's do the market talk. Let's X out what we go through. We'll do the market talk. DM me on Instagram if you want that free training as well. I have a paid training I'm going to give away here in a minute. So the market. What do you think the market's going to do? Throw it in the chat box, whether you're watching the live or the recording, throw it in there. But I want to know what you think the market's going to do. I have an opinion on it. And this is where I said I might get mad. I'm going to try not to cuss because I'm not a cusser, and when I cuss, it probably comes across as unauthentic. I do cuss a little bit, but I try not to. I used to work in the construction industry, and man, I cuss a lot, so I'm getting away from that. That's just how they talk. But the market's not going to crash. I'm sorry. If I see another flipping Meet Kevin video with a thumbnail and a title that says the end has started, or the crash is here, or the world is ending, or this next thing is going to be the next global pandemic, I might cancel my YouTube channel. That guy drives me crazy. And I know he's a good guy, or I'm sure he's a good guy, but the fear mongering of Meet Kevin and a lot of other YouTubers and CNN drive me crazy. You do know that Meet Kevin gets paid from clicks, right? So he has an agenda behind his fear mongering. You do know that CNN gets paid by advertisers for viewers, that Fox News gets paid by advertisers for viewers. So you do know that these somewhat regulated press and these non-regulated social media people are just trying to get views. Me saying that the world's not ending is a way for me not to get as many views. I could have a bigger following if I did that fear mongering. It used to be sex sells, can't do that one. And now it's negativity sells. I'm not gonna do that one. I'm gonna be positive and just realistic. So let's talk about why I think the market's not gonna crash, give you some actual data to support that, and then let's get on the case study, which is a 32-unit apartment complex that I bought without using any of my own money. I own $40 million worth of real estate. I am one of John Burns, look him up, one of his clients. That cost me about $30,000 a year. He is the top economist in the nation as it comes to the housing market. I am also in Collective Genius. That mastermind cost me $30,000 plus travel. So I spend about $100,000 a year to be around the best of the best. I am also actively investing. That's why I am comfortable up here beating the drum that there's going to be no market crash. Let's get that out of the way. This is not a crash. This is a crash. This is not going to happen. That might happen. The market's not going to do this forever. I'm not living in some la-la land, okay? The market, I guess that's LA, right? Anyways, the market is not going to sustain what it's been doing. Obviously, it's already softened. The Fed is mandating the softening by raising rates and making it more expensive to own houses. They're wanting to do that on purpose because they want to pump the brakes. I think Jerome Powell said last week that the housing market needs a reset. So kind of scary to hear the Fed chairman say that, but a reset also just means a softening or plateauing. There's not enough houses out there for a crash. A crash happens when people are not willing to pay a certain amount for a house. So the prices drop, people will pay that much and it stops. That is not going to drop that far because there are just not enough houses out there. There's always going to be somebody for the foreseeable future in a good enough financial situation to offer on these houses and buy them because the supply is so low. We're a few million houses short. Supply and demand have way more effect than anything else on the market. In the 80s, interest rates were in the 17s and there wasn't a big crash. There was just a softening or a little bit of a dip going on. So let me know what you think about that. What level of correction? I saw that. I'll kind of get to question I see them up there. I would say most places are going to be a 5 to 10% correction over the next 2 years. Maybe like, Vegas and Phoenix and some of these hotter markets will get hit a little bit more, but that's over a 2-year period. I say a drawback. Your $200,000 rental property is going to be worth $188,000 in 2 years, but that's okay because guess what? In 10 years, it's going to be worth $350,000. So the market goes up and down. The market goes up and down. Yeah, I just answered that. We're good. So I say a 5-ish% for most of the country, maybe 10% over the next 2 years. That should not kill any of your deals if you're investing the right way. A good investment is a good investment. I know people that bought a lot of real estate in 2006 and 2007. They bought them the right way. They still own them. They didn't go under. The people that bought bad, they bought like bad investments in 06, 07, 05. They went out of business. They went bankrupt. They're scared of real estate. I get that. But if you make sound, solid investments with equity and cash flow, it's never a bad time to buy those. Don't worry about timing the market. It's about time in the market. If the market's going to do this over the next 30 years, who cares if you buy here or here or here or here or here or here? I'll buy every freaking dip. Or I'll buy every freaking, or no, other way. Live, right? This is live. Who cares if you buy here and here and here and here? I'll buy every single spike every single time because guess what? It's never going to be worth less than that. Guess what? It's never going to be worth less than that. That's how it works. It's about getting in and buying good assets. The market is going to crack. It's not going to be all, rainbows and butterflies. However, it's going to be okay. Don't listen to the people that are trying to either don't know what they're talking about or trying to get you to click on their video. All right. So that's my thoughts on the market. I might be right, I might be wrong, but I'd rather be wrong saying something like this than saying for the past 5 years that the market's going to crash, and it hasn't crashed yet, and it's not going to crash. All right, so the case study is a 32-unit apartment complex I bought in 2018. I bought it in 2018 for $1.1 million, okay? Now, I bought it without using any of my own money and fixed it up and completely turned around an area of St. Louis County. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go over the numbers first. I'll give you kind of the background of everything and then we'll get on to the numbers where they are now. So I bought it for $1.1 million. We ended up putting 20% down. I think we're good on this math, which is $220K. So I put $220,000 down on this 30-unit apartment complex. However, that was a private lender. The private lender gave me $220,000, and the bank did the other 80%, which is what, 880, right? 880K. So the bank did 880K, the private lender did 220. So obviously you have to know somebody that's willing to give you $220,000. Private lenders, I talk about them all the time. You probably couldn't use a hard money lender for this, but you can definitely use a private money lender or your own money, or like a home equity line of credit or credit on other businesses or properties you own, but you need to get that 220. Now, it might take you a while to find a private lender. If you've never done a deal before, this one's probably something that's a couple years down the line. So don't say, I don't know anybody that'll give me 220. Maybe not, but you probably know somebody that'll give you 50 or 100, and you can do smaller deals and build your way up to this. Private lenders, I used to thank them for investing in me. Now I don't. I'm saying this tongue in cheek. I make them thank me because it's such a safe investment for them. We give them 8 to 12% return. We personally guarantee it. They're listed on the insurance certificate, so if something happens, they have a lien on the property. If I get hit by a truck, they get to take it. They can foreclose on it if I don't pay them. They are so protected. It's safer than most savings accounts because savings accounts, get capped at $250. I think FDIC only insures $250,000 in a bank account. So it's the safest investment you can have. In my opinion, it's double digits. So private lenders, it's backed by real estate, it's backed by you. You're putting skin in the game. It's a great investment for them. So he gave me $220, put it down on the property. Now the property was a mess. We ended up evicting 18 of the 32 tenants in the first 6 months, not because we wanted to, because we had to, because they were trashing the place, they weren't paying on time, they weren't paying at all. So it was a heavy lift at first. And we actually ended up borrowing, I'm not going to do this in the math, but we also actually ended up borrowing a little bit more money from the private lender to make some, fixes on the units that people left. We also took every penny of cash flow and put it back into the property. So for a couple of years, we borrowed a little bit more money and dumped every cent of cash flow back into the property to improve the area. When we took it over, the police station is like 3 blocks away, which you think would deter crime, but it did not. The police said that they were at the property, if not every day, at least 4 or 5 times a week, every single week for multiple years. After the 2 years of us turning, it slowly went away. Talked to the cops, I guess in 2020 when we did our first refinance, and he said that they're there maybe once a month. So we made a kind of rougher area, a really, really nice, safe area for people to live. These were 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartments. So these were, single people and people with small kids. And, this is, it was like, I don't know, a B- area, C+ area. So it wasn't like a great area, but it wasn't a bad area. And there were families living there. So I feel great about that. So over the next 2 years, we used a little bit of extra cash from Steve, and we used all the cash flow to increase the value. And that's how multifamily properties are valued, on the income that they produce. They're not valued on the houses in the area. Like your house is the value of your house is the value of all your neighbors' houses, assuming they're similar size and condition. Multifamily is not that way. It's based on the income it produces. So the fact that we, spend a bunch of cash, yes, but we increase rents. I don't like to charge market rent. I like to be like 5 or 10% below market rent. I want to give people a good, safe place to live for an affordable price. And also, you give them a little bit of a deal, they'll stay longer and you'll make more money than, maxing out rent and charging 10% more. They stay an extra 2 or 3 years. If I get 10% less than market rent for a 10-year period and the tenant moves out twice, or if I max out market rent and the tenant moves out 3 or 4 times, I'm literally probably going to double my cash flow from no move-outs, because move-outs cost money. You're not collecting rent. You have expenses. Move-outs aren't good, so having a good tenant, little discount. Anyway, so we're not like we're screwing people over. So we increased the net income by charging more for rent because it was way low because it was a crappy property. So we made it really nice, and we charged a medium nice price. So we increased the rent a lot, on over 32 units, $150, that's a lot of money. So we increased the rent, and we actually decreased expenses, but we took better care of our tenants. We used software, we used efficiencies with our maintenance crews that were in the area that could do multiple deal, fixes at one time. We communicate with the tenant. A light bulb went out in your closet. We'll get to that in the next couple of days when a tenant's in the area, or when a maintenance tech's in the area. They're great with that. If it was an emergency, we get there right away. But just having that communication allows us to not go out just to change a light bulb. So increased income, decreased expenses, and that increases your net income, which increases the value of your property. It's called the cap rate. So the more income your property produces, the more it's worth. That's how banks and everybody, that's how banks and everybody figures out the values of multifamilies. It just is what it is. 1 + 1 = 2. It's one of those kind of things. So let's flash forward. Whoa, we zoomed in, Dakota. All right, let's flash forward to 2020. 2020, maybe I'll get better at writing one day. No, I won't. That's a lie. I don't lie to you on here, and I will never get better at writing. It'll probably actually just get worse. Anyways, so in 2020, the property, I am not, well, actually, yeah. So I'm going to need your help with math, Dakota. So in 2020, the property appraised for $1.6 million. And the bank said, I'll give you the same thing they did, the same thing they do with single family rentals. They said, I'll give you a loan for 80% of that. So they gave me a loan for 80% of 1.6, which is that number looks familiar to me. So they gave me a loan for 1.28 million. Now, we'll get to the private lender in a minute, but remember my original loan from the bank was 880. And 2 years later, it wasn't paid down a ton, but I think it was paid down to probably like 850. So that's minus 850K. So we paid off the $850,000 loan that we had. We have a new loan, that's fine, but the difference was cash given to us. It's called the cash out refinance. You or your parents have probably done it on their house recently. You increase your debt, but you get that debt as cash. It's tax-free, and it's put onto the mortgage that you pay over a long period of time at low interest rates, which usually beats inflation, so it's free money. 430. So they wrote us a check for $430,000, and we have a new mortgage of $1.28 million at 30 years at a lower interest rate, so our cash flow actually went up. It was extended over a long period of time because, I think it was originally 25 years. We had down to 23, so we added 7 more years to the note, but got a lot of cash, and our actually payment went down. Real estate's powerful, Dakota.
Love it.
All right, okay. So how much did we owe? How much did we owe our boy? 220, and I think we ended up borrowing like 30 more. So we owed him 250. So we owed our private lender 250, plus throughout the process when there was cash flow, we gave him some cash flow. But he wanted to make a decent amount on his money, which we were fine with. So over those 2 years, I don't remember what exactly came out to, but we ended up giving him like an additional 250 that he gave us. We ended up giving him like an additional 75. So that's a really good investment on his part. So what's 430 minus 250 minus 75? 105. So to recap this, I know this is a lot, so go back and watch it or check out my TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I do short form stuff like this. On my shorts for YouTube, and then my long form stuff here. And I got a podcast that we're starting that's getting right over there as well for longer form stuff, and a book coming out. Anyways, so to kind of recap this quickly, because that was a lot, bought a property, fixed it up, borrowed money, but then once it was fixed up, it appraised for 1.6 million, got an 80% loan, which was cash for that, of 1.28 million, subtracted the old loan that was paid down to 850, $430,000 in cash. Now we owed our private lender his 220 plus the 30 that he gave us, so 250 plus an additional $75,000 in interest gain. So he got a check back. He wrote me a check for 250. He got a check back for 325, and I got a $105,000 tax-free check. You know what I do with those checks? I pay off rental properties. We paid off a property that we owed about $105,000 on, so now that is more security for the aggressive growth that I have. We have a paid off rental property, so that cash flow went up. It was tax-free money, so our cash flow goes up now because our mortgage goes away on that rental property, and we took a line of credit out on that paid off property, so now we have active cash flow to lend out to our other businesses or lend to people. I think our line of credit is at 5%, and we can lend it at 12%, so we can make money on the debt that we got without using any of our own money. All right, so that is the super powerful thing, but I'm not done with this one. Guess what? 2022 rolled around. I don't know if Dakota knows this, but the market's been pretty hot. The property appraised for $2 million. We bought it freaking 4 years ago for $1.1 million, did a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of hard work, a lot of lessons learned, not a lot of cash at first, but then 2 years later, cash started flowing, and now if we wanted to, we could take out another 80% loan, which would be $1.6 million, which we're not going to, I don't think, but we could, and we owe 1.25 or whatever. So we could pull out another few $100,000 if we wanted. So that's the power of multifamily and the power of real estate and the power of properly leveraging debt. Give this video a like if you have not. Come on now, I feel like I'm giving away a lot of good information. I'm getting ready to do my giveaway. I have a free giveaway. DM me on Instagram for my free training, or just check out the link here, or the description, the link in the description. Sorry, what? Watch out for scammers on Instagram. Yes, it's one account, the only one that has the most followers, the only one that posts new content, 156,000 followers, 157,000 followers, only one account on Instagram at Sam Faster Freedom, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And Twitter, and Discord, and Reddit, and Facebook. But anyways, so the free training you can have, but there's a paid training that I'm going to give away for free to somebody watching on here in about 2 minutes. So you got to have asked a question though. So throw some questions in there. And then if you missed this earlier and you're still watching the recording, I'm going to give away another one to somebody who's watching the recording. So if you're watching it now and want to re-comment again, but starting this evening and tomorrow, I'm going to go back next week and look at somebody that commented after this live recording and give one away to them as well. So like this video, I'll check the algorithm. Everybody has to like this video. You should do it anyway, but like it for the free training, for the paid training that you get for free, and then throw some questions in the chat box below. So throw some questions in there, I'll get to them, and then I will give away that free training. So what questions do we have, Dakota, or anything? How do you go about finding properties? Love this question. So there are so many different ways. There's 30, so you should stay away. The Q&A is what some people want, like that's it. So just the Q&As might be worth your time, so don't go anywhere. And I'm doing the giveaway. But anyways, the Q&A, that stands for question and answer, Dakota. Did that do a lot? So how do you find properties? So there's a ton of different ways to do it. There's 30, 40 ways that people find properties, but let's just talk about the ones that make most sense for you as a new investor. Number one, find local wholesalers. Go to your local meetups, join your local Facebook groups, call your little bandit signs that say we buy ugly houses. Google real estate investors near me or real estate wholesalers. There's like 30 ways to find wholesalers. Find local wholesalers. They will do all the hard work for you. They will find the property, negotiate, get it at a good enough price that they can mark it up and still sell it to you to make money. Of that 250 houses we're going to wholesale this year, I'm confident that every single one, if they don't screw up the rehab, people are going to make money on. So we make money and they make money, everybody wins. So find your local wholesalers, meetups, Facebook groups, bandit signs, Google, all those things, and find your local real estate agents. Most of them don't know investing, but a few do. And a few properties a year they'll come across make great investment properties. Those great houses that are in the retail market you see on Zillow are not going to be any of your leads for this. So do that. And I would also use the DealMachine app. It's the best way to take control of your lead flow. If you're willing to drive for dollars, gas is kind of high right now, so just do it on your way to or from work, or just go out and do it on Saturday afternoon. But download the DealMachine app, DealMachine. Use the code FASTERFreedom. I don't get paid anything for your free trial. I just know the owner of that group I was talking about earlier, that mastermind I'm in with him. So you get a free week's trial and free deal credits. You could literally buy a deal for free. You probably won't, but you might. You will 1,000% find a deal eventually using DealMachine app, and it's cheap after the free trial. So just try it. So those are a couple sources to find deals. Where were you cash flowing the 1.1 million purchase price, or did it take some renovations to force appreciation to do so? Great question, Tim. We were cash flowing. Yes, we were cash flowing a little bit. So I don't know exact numbers. Each month was a little bit different, but we were cash flowing probably not very much, probably maybe like $500 a month that we would like put back into things and borrow money, and it would add up. And that was after all expenses. I mean, maintenance and some improvements built into the cash flow. So we were a little bit, but not very much. It's a long-term play like all real estate. It was our first big apartment complex, or bigger one. And you just have to, not every deal is a home run, but they all will be a home run. There's a quote for you, Dakota, for Twitter. Not every deal is a home run right away, but if you buy real estate the right way, eventually all of them will be grand slams on steroids with Buzz Lightyear baseball bats. Like they're the best thing ever, but it's just not gonna happen right away. And if you think it is, then probably invest in crypto. Would you laugh at Buzz Lightyear?
How do I get started with wholesaling?
How do you get started with wholesaling? Great question. So I do have wholesaling content. I kind of lean towards the long-term rental property stuff, but you can get started in wholesaling, and you can learn a lot of that from my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the stuff I teach it for free. But let's do a little bit on here. How do you didn't know we were going to do that? Keep the questions coming. When I'm done talking about wholesaling, I'm going to give away that free paid training. So keep the questions coming if you haven't. I'm going to check if you liked the video. check the analytics to make sure you liked it. And then I'm going to make sure you commented, and then we're going to give it away. All right, so make sure you hit that like button, but let's talk about wholesaling first, and then we will get the ball rolling. What time is it? Man, I'm talking a lot. I talk a lot. That's why I have to drink all this effing water, because I talk so much. All right, that's great for TV, right? Spit and shit. All right, here we go. All right, so wholesaling. Who on here knows what wholesaling is? I know it's annoying for the people that are watching the recording, so I'll move quickly, but if you know what wholesaling is in the chat box, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. I just want to kind of see how many people know about wholesaling. And again, you can do this if you're watching the recording as well, but I want to get just a gauge of your understanding of wholesaling. Wholesaling is great for somebody that has no credit, that has no money, and that doesn't want to take risk. Wholesaling is great. So if you have no money, no credit, and don't want to take risk, you should wholesale, or you should start to get into wholesaling now. I'm not going to tell you that having credit, having money, and having a willingness to take risks won't help you. Obviously, if you have an 800 credit score, 20 grand in the bank, and are willing to take risks, you're going to make more money wholesaling. However, if those aren't your options, you still can wholesale like we're going to talk about. So again, wholesaling, you need to find distressed properties. I just told you how to find leads. You can talk to other wholesalers, agents, driving for dollars, bandit signs, ton of different ways. I think I have like hour-long video on YouTube on the top 20 lead sources. So look for it there, or look at other. I kind of suck at YouTube besides the short form stuff. So I'd appreciate you looking at my stuff too, but there's other stuff out there too you can look at. It's called YouTube University. Check it out. Yeah, Jaden, he turned in his head like that, like he just saw a hot girl walk by or something. Bro, you gotta just give the people what they want, and then they're not all gonna love my stuff. All right, anyways, here we go. So this is wholesaling in a nutshell for you to help understand how the process works. So wholesaling, like all real estate investing, starts out with a distressed property, and then you make it nice, and then you sell or rent it for money. This is real estate investing. Distressed property, fix up, make nice, sell or rent for money. That's real estate investing in a very simple nutshell. Now, wholesaling is living inside the transaction. Therefore, you'll see why you don't need any money to do it. So for an example, let's say you drove for dollars, you saw this distressed property, you used the DealMachine app, you hit the button, and it sent you their phone number and email address, which they do that in that app. Faster Freedom code to download to try it out for free. And then you call them, negotiated, and you got the property under contract for $150,000. Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, they're going through a situation, you're helping them out, they agreed to that $150,000 price. Great, awesome. Now, the non-risk part and the right way to do it is to put in a contingency. Day 1 contract, day 45 close. Now, I suggest, if possible, a 14-day or 2-week contingency. When you're signing the contract, you tell the seller, this is the price you wanted. I think it works for me, but I obviously don't lose money on this. Give me a week or two to make sure that I can bring in contractors or lenders or people that might buy the property from me. Give me 2 weeks to make sure this deal works for me. If it doesn't, at the end of 2 weeks, I won't be performing on the contract. I'll communicate the whole way, and then you're no worse off than you are now. But if it works out, then everybody wins. So that's what you do on that timeline. And then let's say day 10 right here, you find a seller or you find a buyer, and they buy it. It's a real estate investor with money that's going to flip it and sell it, and you sell it to them for $175,000, which is the national average for a wholesale deal is probably 20 grand. So if you've tried wholesaling somebody just messaged me the other day, not trying to throw too much shade, but they're like, I've been wholesaling for 2 weeks, haven't got a property. What am I doing wrong? The average wholesale deal is 20 grand. If you think you can make 20 grand every 2 weeks, yeah, I mean, maybe, but probably not. Your first deal probably takes 6 months, but then your next deal will probably take 3, and then your next week 2, and then your next one might take that following week. Like anything else, it takes time. But anyways, so I'm just telling you to tell that you're gonna make 25 grand on this deal, so it's gonna take time to make that 25 grand. So here's what happens. On day 45, the buyer of the property that you signed the contract over, that one you signed with them that had that contingency on it, you sell that sheet of paper that has rights to that property at $150 to the buyer. They take it to their title company at closing day. They sign a new document saying they're closing, and then they get wired $150,000, the seller does, and you get wired $25,000. They got their $150, they're happy. You got your $25, you're happy. The buyer's happy because they're gonna probably put 50 grand into it and sell it and make 40 grand or something. They're going to make good money on it. So that is wholesaling in a nutshell. Now, obviously, there's a million different ways to find this distressed property. You know, you can do contingencies or not. There's a million different ways to find the seller. So it's more complex than that, but that is a kind of simple version of it. All right. We are going to be giving away our free Real Estate 101 course to who? All right, I'll look at that in a second. I'll look at to, let's give it to, who do you think? Let's give it to what?
Everybody spam one in the chat.
Everybody write who you want to win it in the chat box. Right now I'm going to pick one. Write who you want to win it. If it's you or somebody else, write who you want to win it. I'll do it. Look at that on the right. That's pretty good down there, that 551 average. Oh, while you're doing that, Omkar, Daniel last week, how to ensure the current market conditions that will be profitable. The market conditions don't matter. Omkar, you're buying at 25, 30% below market price. So the market can shift as long as you cash flow, you're fine. Let's give it, who was first? I don't know if I'm saying it right, Javon or Javone. Either one, you are first, my man. Screenshot this, your YouTube, and then DM me on Instagram, and I will get you that. And anybody else that watches this after the fact, maybe even, I don't know, I like that you're in here, Hannah, that's awesome. I want more females in the space, but Javon, email me, sorry, DM me on Instagram, @SamFasterFreeman, and I will get you that stuff. So thank you for being here. Hopefully you can go back and watch this if you kind of just got here. Follow my TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Jay, get ready to turn it off. DM me on Instagram if you want my free training. Follow me on all the social media. See you next week. Oh yeah, we're starting to come out with Jaden's got to make it happen, but skits on Sunday. Tuesday, new YouTube video. Thursday, live. Sunday, we're doing skits. You'll see what that's about. Sunday afternoon, we got a skit coming out on our YouTube channel. See you next week.